Now remember, be confident and I'm going to give you the best answers that I can think of. This interview is going to be a piece of cake.
Yeah, got it.
Hello, Jacob. Did I interrupt a call or something? I heard you talking just now.
Oh yeah, forgot that you can't see me. We used that Firestorm matrix with some nuclear power to combine into one person. Now I'm just a voice in your head.
I know that, but he doesn't know that.
I don't know what.
Oh, sorry. Just hung up.
Right. So tell me, Jacob, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Doing push-ups on a sports car.
What the heck?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is everything all right?
You want them to think you're tough, and the sports car means you're successful. Duh.
No, that's the stupidest answer I've ever heard.
I think I'm going to ask you to leave now.
No, you can still save this. Push his computer off his desk.
Security!
This is going horribly. I'm sorry. My brother is speaking to me as a disembodied head that floats around and gives me advice.
This is Botch. Turn his desk to Jello and make a quick escape.
Security!
It's a bird, it's a plane, no! The heat is on!
Hi, I'm Dan.
I'm Jake.
And we're the Super Sons, making the DC Universe a little bit more accessible for everyone. And Jake, what are we talking about today?
Firestorm, who was created in 1978 by Jerry Conway and Al Milgrom, and first appeared in Firestorm the Nuclear Man, issue number 1.
We were supposed to talk about Stephanie Brown today, but I wanted to push that off till I was in a better mind space because she is my all-time favorite Bat Fam member. But we decided to switch over to Firestorm, who actually ends up being quite interesting, and we get to talk about the Cold War. So,
oh, and the heat is on.
Through the Firestorm Matrix, Ronnie Raymond, a high school student and Nobel Prize-winning nuclear physicist, Professor Martin Stein, are able to combine into Firestorm the Nuclear Man. Wow, that was a really hard sentence to say, but I didn't mess that up. So, his powers are really to change things at an atomic level, not organic matter. So he could turn, say, a desk into jello. He could change air into water.
This is one of those problems where people who created it didn't know what organic meant, other than being people. Organic is anything with carbon. So he can actually change steel and stuff, but
hasn't he changed actual people too?
Oh yeah, no. As Deathstorm, he turned Jason Rush's girlfriend into salt.
We didn't talk about Deathstorm in this at all. Deathstorm is, I almost said the F word, not cursing anymore. Deathstorm is awesome. He's got the coolest design out of all of the Brightest Day bad guys.
Yeah, and when he was brought back for Forever Evil, he still maintained the older look and not the updated look.
So,
or did he? I don't remember.
Deathstorm is the Earth 3 villain version of Firestorm. I don't think we've talked about Earth 3. That's just where all the good guys are bad guys. The Justice
and
Lord?
Lex Luthor is often nebulous.
Yeah, he's got the curly red afro.
Well, that's his son. That's Alexander Luthor. That's a different
But he's the one who comes out, and the other one is the one who usually dies. What the hell?
Hey, we talked about Alexander, didn't we?
Oh, we did in Crisis.
But back to Firestorm.
Ronnie was part of an activist group because he was concerned with man-made catastrophes. He was against the long-term effects of them and the damage they can do, such as the bombings during World War II, Chernobyl, and other nuclear-powered events. Firestorm actually tried to stop the creation of more nuclear arms during the Cold War, and he went against the US and Russia.
He kind of comes out as a Godzilla-esque figure on that note, because Godzilla was created as a commentary on, what was it? I think it was called the Red Dragon Incident in Japan, where a group of fishermen were too close to a nuclear test site. It's been a while since I researched that. But Ronnie's body is the body of Firestorm, whereas Professor Stein is the voice of reason, but kind of just a floating head that only Ronnie can see. There's been multiple changes to the Firestorm combination over the years, and most importantly, when Ronnie died during Identity Crisis, it was a new young man named Jason Rush, and eventually Ronnie came back, but instead of the Professor being the voice inside the head, it was Jason.
I think the most well-known version of Firestorm is the one that we see in the Arrowverse, which is Jefferson Jackson and Martin Stein, who were in the best show on the CW, Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Ronnie was in that. He was pretty...
I don't remember why he pieced out. I think his character, quote-unquote, died, but he was...
Yeah, they went into the that black hole, and then they...
Oh, yeah, that was season
they came up
2? Or is it 1?
Two or 3, I can't remember. 1 or 2. Well, I don't remember.
The end of season 2 is where Supergirl, Arrow, and Flash team up for the first time, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the episode where Firestorm goes, well, I haven't watched the CW in a very long time. I was actually talking to Scarlett, who wants to watch it. And I was like, listen, you are more than welcome to watch it and do stuff for Super Sons about the CW verse, but I'm only interested in going back to catch up on Legends of Tomorrow, which is absolutely the best show.
I would disagree. I would say that Black Lightning is, and actually, since Stargirl is going there, that first episode was stellar.
Yeah, it was really good, but I still think Legends is better because it's something that's not ripped directly from any comics, and it has a lot of different dynamics.
Firestorm was in the Legends of Tomorrow comic.
Right, but it's not like the Flash or things like that are directly pulling from...
No, I know. I'm just mentioning that Firestorm was in it.
Yeah, he's also on the team for a long time. So, we're actually talking about an animated show.
Justice League Action, which is just so much fun, and I wish it had lasted longer. Because especially this episode was... Well, this half of the episode, which is called Nuclear Family Values. It is part of episode 3, but it's technically episode 6. It depends on what you're watching it on. But it takes a lot of the concepts from the original 2 Justice League shows, takes a couple of the voice actors, brings them back, and it kind of builds on that.
Yeah, it's also
got a whole Mark Hamill episode.
Yeah, where he plays Swamp Thing, Joker, and himself. But I think the big thing about Justice League Action is that it was stuck in sort of that Cartoon Network, I don't know where to place you time slot, where it was Saturday morning at random times, so no one ever really got to see it. Kind of like Young Justice was for a long time.
Young Justice also would fall off the face of the earth without any warning.
Yeah. And then there were you have to figure out when the next episode was coming on. And it was also because of the low toy sales for both of them, but this one just never really found its audience. So this episode was directed by...
Unlike Teen Titans Go.
Which Teen Titans Go is still going, and it is the best, the just absolute best. We just got Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans, and it is a wild movie. And they do 2 musical numbers, and in the second one, they're like, "Why do you do this?" And he's like, "It's a filler, baby." Teen Titans Go is why I like Cyborg so much. Also, full redact on the episode where we did Cyborg, and I thought they don't say Mr. Meatball Disaster because they 100% do, because in the film, Teen Titans Go to the movies, he shoots meatballs out of his blaster while he says Mr. Meatball Disaster, not Mr. Made by Disaster. Sorry, I had to...
Why would it be Mr. Made by Disaster? Oh, wait, never mind. Never mind. Yep. Disregard what I just said.
That's why it was so confusing to me, but back to Firestorm. So this episode was directed by Doug Murphy, who does an absolute ton of storyboards for pretty much every animated cartoon, and he directed almost all of the Constantine animated stuff that CW did after they canceled Constantine on the NBC. Constantine's also in Legends of Tomorrow. And he also directed a bunch of Wolverine and the X-Men episodes, which I still have yet to watch.
Wait, was it Doug Murphy's idea for have Constantine a shark man?
No. Also, you cursed in this episode, not me. No, that was...
This is true.
That was... I don't know whose idea that was, but it's hilarious.
It is.
So it's written by Paul Dini, who we've talked about many times in the show. I kind of got caught scrolling through his IMDb for a while, just like baffled by how much he's actually done. And I was like, man, we really should cover Mask of Phantasm, but I think we have to cover that in a different way.
Yeah. So for voice actors, we have for Firestorm, PJ Byrne, who if any of you guys are Avatar or Legend of Korra fans, you would know him better as Bolin. And for Professor Stein, we have Stephen Tobolowsky. Batman, as you already know, is Kevin Conroy. Wonder Woman / Sis is Rachel Kimsey. Superman / Biff is Jason L. Lewis. Mom / Brat is Melissa Disney. Dad is voiced by Kevin Schnick.
Yeah, I think that's right.
All right. Yeah. So the episode opens with an unknown group attacking the power plant, compromising its core. Batman is trying to get a bunch of League members to try and stop the meltdown, but everyone is either too far away or too busy. And you have a little note here.
Martian Manhunter is on Mars. I guess he's just being sad and stuff, or fighting the true villain of the DC universe, as we've learned, Dr. Manhattan.
You mean Wally West?
I hope that gets scrapped. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I still have to read it. I'm reserving judgment, but I'm just like, can't run too fast when you're on a chair.
Yeah, I just don't like the inclusion of Dr. Manhattan in anything.
Yeah.
Not as much as I hate Rorschach, but...
It's what it is. I mean, if we can get more of a big snow owl, night owl, you know.
I wonder if
this podcast is all there for that.
Is Night Owl even in Doomsday Clock?
I don't know.
Guess one of us would actually have to read it.
I mean, I'll have to read it anyway because I love the JSA and they have a part in that. But all right, so I had a note on this one too. But Batman says that nobody can get a hold of the Flash. The Flash can just like send a text message real quick, like at any point. Like he could stop mid punch, text somebody, and then complete the punch without his enemy even noticing. Just don't get it.
He's probably somewhere in time screwing stuff up.
That raises the question: is it Wally or Barry? Because this is kind of a continuation of the old animated series, where Wally was still the Flash. Then again, it doesn't really matter. Hal Jordan has black hair in that show. But so it turns out there's already a hero on their way, and that turns out to be Firestorm. But Batman notes that the power set works really well because of the nuclear background. Did I say nuclear?
Nuclear.
All right. But he's a teenager who talks to himself.
So I actually really like that part of him just because I love the idea of characters talking to themselves and other characters being like, who are they talking to? Because it happens with Blue Beetle a lot as well.
Yeah. And I wanted to raise that question of, so Blue Beetle in two different shows. One show, Young Justice, he actually hears a voice, and we hear the voice of the thing. But in Brave and the Bold, you just hear beeps. So, what's more interesting in your opinion? One, hearing him talk to the beeps, or him talking to a voice? Like you can understand the voice. What's more interesting? Like pulling the context, or having the ability to assume what it is?
I like when there's no context whatsoever and it just sounds like they're talking to themselves and like no one has any idea what's going on.
Okay, so does it sound better with the beeps?
Beeps.
Beeps. All right. Also, the heat is on, Dan. The heat is on.
Which is Firestorm's catchphrase this entire episode.
Yep. And Biff's.
I keep wanting to say Firestar, but that's not right, and that's the wrong universe.
No, she's microwave powers.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And her horse died. So Firestorm. Emma Frost. Gotta love it. Some Emma Frost. So Firestorm arrives at the power plant. Dr. Stein's calculations determine that the power plant is about to melt down. So we can actually get their origin story. Stein has actually built this power plant. In this universe, Ronnie was just a hostage for some terrorists that were looking to get plutonium, and they tossed him and some grenades that went off, and it caused them both to fuse. So, back in the present, Firestorm saves 2 workers trying to flee. They warn him that there are freaks in the core, so Firestorm has to go to stop them.
So, we actually get to meet the nuclear family. At first, they're hiding in the shadows, but eventually they do come out and reveal that they're sort of like the typical perfect 50s, 60s family, like the Cold War nuclear family. When I asked Jake what they were called, he said atom bomb babies.
Atom bomb babies.
So pretty much they're just like the ideal looking family from those times. Mom, dad, son, daughter, dog, all that stuff. So
I like how Brad has a fox fur, not fox fur, raccoon hat.
Yeah, they're like super classic.
Like a Davy
looking.
Crockett hat.
Like, you know, they're about to call the police on their neighbors to tell them that they're communists.
Oh God.
Is that like old school liberalism? I don't really know what that was. So they actually seem kind of nice, and they're just like kind of setting up their living room. And the living room looks like something out of Fallout. That's my only point of reference right now because I'm playing 76 so much. And
I've been watching Mad Men.
Firestorm calls them robots, but they all kind of like aghast at that, and they treat that as a naughty word. They consider themselves automated Americans.
I genuinely love how the robot parts were just showing, and like they had like that glow about them.
I honestly think the nuclear family is such an interesting group, and they show up in Titans, which is
I wish Titans had leaned into the robot thing.
I wish.
And not just like a serum that they all.
I've got a lot to say about Titans because Scarlett and I watched a couple episodes last night. Connor, very good. I really like Connor in that show.
I haven't gotten to him yet.
But I could, as soon as the thing happened with Aqualad, I turned it off, and it's been almost a year since I've watched it. So, Dad tells Sis to take care of Firestorm, and Sis emits radioactive beams from her eyes and mouth, which is an absolute nightmare. Firestorm accidentally ignites some chemical waste before he gets a vision of the birth of the nuclear family. Stein explains how the nuclear family was created by a scientist who opposed nuclear warfare. The family was to show the effects on ordinary people. The androids were actually built a little too well, so they absorbed all the energy from the nuclear blast and escaped. Firestorm wakes up hours after being knocked out, where he is captured by the family who are having a pool party. The dad legit drinks a tube of nuclear material like it's Miller High Life, the champagne of beer. Please sponsor us.
I was just watching through Mad Men because I think it's my second watch through, but I just reached the part where Don gets knocked out in the motel room, so now I'm just thinking about that.
You know. Oh wait, you never watched the final season of Mad Men? Oh, I can't wait to see.
Yeah, no, I watched it. I watched when it was on Netflix when I was in high school. I watched up until season 5, which was the only thing left. But I had done it all in one go, so there was like momentum. And by season 6, started out so slow, I was having problems get through it.
The only person I had to talk to about it when it was on, because I was watching it weekly, was my grandparents.
Grandma watched that too.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah,
her husband was sort of a madman.
But he wasn't a madman.
Yeah, not successfully a madman. He had the same mentality.
Well, no, he did. He did at times. They just found his quarters. $1,000 in quarters.
Oh, yeah, she was telling me that. Because they were in the closet and she didn't think they were worth anything. Back to the nuclear family. So the family really just wants a home for themselves, but they're kind of all kind of like messed up. So they're going to blow up the nuclear plant to make a nuclear wasteland for them to live in. So this part, when they capture Firestorm, he's dangling above a pool. And you might be saying to yourself, why is there a pool in a nuclear facility? So what it is where they put the spent fuel rods. Basically, they're still dangerous for like 10,000 years, but the water nullifies it because it's water that keeps moving and it moves all the radiation out. And it would be totally fine for you to swim in it as long as you don't like swim all the way down and touch where the rods are. Because of the
Is that where toxic waste come from?
No, it's just the fuel rods. So it's circulating in the water.
No, I mean the water. The water they circulated out.
No, the water's fine. Because it's continuously moving and it's a little bit below the temperature of what a hot tub would be. And you can swim in it without you actually would get less radiation there than you would walking in a city.
So that raises the question of why in Fallout, when you swim in the water, you get like 10 rads every second.
Well, that's different. That's not water that's circulating constantly. This water is being pushed from there to other places and it's pretty much running like super quick. So it's moving. Not natural standing water that's moving just regularly. It's a lot faster than that. And I know all this information because it is the forbidden pool of my dreams, as well as the forbidden milkshake, which is that mummy juice that they found.
Do I have to worry about you going to 3 Mile Island now?
Yeah, 3 Mile Island. I actually meant to mention that earlier, but I forgot about it. That's another one of the nuclear things that inspired Firestorm. But yeah, the forbidden pool and the forbidden milkshake, which was that mummy juice from a few years ago when they uncovered that sarcophagus. It was just full of the mummy juice. I just want to know what they did with it.
Drink up.
I just want to know what they did with it and why I can't have it.
Remember in 30 Rock when they found that ancient bottle of wine at the bottom of the water?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Was that? No, that wasn't the gay bomb. That wasn't the gay bomb. That was a different thing. That was like a stink bomb that they put in. What the hell was that? All right. Basically, Firestorm is connected to the reactor, so his power is being absorbed, so he can't really do anything, like, energy-wise. So instead, he uses his other ability to change one of the floaties that's in the pool into a squirrel, and then gets the dog to jump in. He who absorbs the power to get free. So the family starts fighting Firestorm with their nuclear powers, but he just throws up a wall and then lets little windows open so he can absorb it and then redirect it. And that's where Biff says the heat is on, but he doesn't say it as fun. So Dad gets the upper hand on Firestorm until Firestorm absorbs the energy that was spent from the fuel rods to control the water. And, he water bends it, even though Bolin is an earthbender, and a lava bender technically. But, so take hold of the family. So then Firestorm does what anyone would do to a nuclear robot and gives them a big hug and then brainiacs them. As in, he shrinks them into a little glass jar where they continue to live as a family. And he also fixes their skin suits.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
That was nice of him.
Yeah. Give him a little extra. And the League finally arrives and tells him that he has shown compassion and has done an incredible job. They offer him a spot on the Justice League.
Hi, Mira. Sorry, the cat's scratching my leg for me to pay attention to her.
Hello, listeners. Are you pro cat or pro dog?
I mean, you could be both.
It's true.
We've got all of them. Hi, Mira.
We do.
Can you leave me? No.
But there are people out there who like to take sides.
Yeah, just like they take sides with the two big companies. So So my absolute favorite part of this episode is the nuclear family. I really do think there's such an interesting concept. I wish they would pop up more in actual comics, but I want them to pop up in like a mini series or something where it can explore the idea of that whole era and the quote unquote nuclear family and why it doesn't work as well today.
My favorite moment was, I said it was the heat is on, but that's a different point. My favorite part was probably the squirrel.
He just like makes the tricks the dog to running into the pool.
Yeah. But my favorite quote is, the heat is on.
I didn't write down the exact quote, but at one point there's radioactive steam and he turns it into like evergreen scented air freshener, which is piney, yeah. And Jake, what did you say the 3 suggested readings for this would be?
Well, there's not a lot of Firestorm runs. There's the original one, which is 5 issues long, and the 6 issues in a canceled comics cavalcade. But the second series, which runs for about 100 issues, is probably your best bet of learning about Ronnie Raymond. And that's called The Fury of Firestorm the Nuclear Man, and then it eventually gets shortened to just Firestorm the Nuclear Man again. And then there's the Jason Rush Firestorm series, and then there's the New 52 one. You'll pretty much find out all you need to know about the character in those series.
Yeah, I've also decided I'm going to start ranking characters by how much I like them in the Injustice fighting games. Because I was playing as Firestorm before we recorded this, and trash. Honestly, trash. There's no combos with... I feel like there's going to be one person listening who's like a big fighting game buff and is going to like tell me how wrong I am. Because I probably am. I'm not very good. And I don't really read anything, so the combos aren't there. But like, if I had to give you my top 3 fighters in Injustice 2, it goes Green Arrow, Catwoman, and then for the sheer fact that I can play as the Ninja Turtles in a DC Comics game, the Ninja Turtles.
Okay, so for another suggested... This is not a suggested reading. This is a reading you probably can just stay away from and never introduce into your life. So Ronnie Raymond dies in Identity Crisis, and that's all you really need to know about Ronnie Raymond in Identity Crisis. So you never have to read that. Yeah,
Identity Crisis is something. But yeah.
Well, I mean, the writer of it did create a really good comic, just like it's like the complete antithesis of it.
But there was some... I mean, there's been a lot of big DC news in the past couple of weeks, but I really think the biggest one is the Snyder Cut. Jake, how do you feel?
I mean, I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, it's wild that they would cut the big bad of the DC universe
and just give us Steppenwolf.
I wonder what Steppenwolf's current relation is to Darkseid, because originally he was his uncle.
What was he in Earth 2?
I don't remember, because he gets ripped in half.
Good.
By a clone of Superman.
Yeah, I just think... It's a complicated thing, because a lot of the fans are really terrible, but a lot of the fans ended up raising a lot of money for charity, so it's kind of this double-edged sword, like, should studios give in to this kind of stuff? But honestly, I'm excited to see Snyder's original vision.
James Gunn got his job back for...
Yeah, he didn't just get his job back, he got 2 blockbusters.
Yeah, he did.
But Snyder never did anything wrong. Like, it sucks that people do this, because he
got fired after his daughter died.
Yeah, it's a really fucked up situation. But
yeah,
I'm excited. From what I understand of his original vision, it's going to be wild, like just wild. But that means we get to see more Batfleck, which is cool. But now I feel like AT&T's baiting a little bit with people. They're like, oh yeah, maybe Ben Affleck will come back, and Ben Affleck will not come back. He does not want to come back.
No, he's doing much better.
Oh, side note about Ben Affleck, The Town. Watch that for the first time ever. Ben Affleck's got it. He's great. And then I watched, what did I just watch the other night? This Isn't What He Would Want, or something like that. It was a Netflix movie with Willem Dafoe and Ben Affleck, so of course I watched it. And Anne Hathaway was great in it. It was just a little confusing. But back to the Snyder Cut. I'm less excited for the Snyder Cut than I would be for Ayer's director's version of Suicide Squad, because I've gone on record on other shows and maybe ours saying that I actually think Suicide Squad has a ton of really good parts that never connect because it was edited by a trailer company. And like
wait, what?
Yeah, it was edited by this trailer company that made the Suicide Squad trailer. Also, the Suicide Squad trailer changed the way trailers are made, which no one really thinks about, because the way the music syncs with the actual trailer, it was like way better than the actual movie. But there's so many
I just hope there's more Boomerang in it.
Yeah, I think there was a lot more connected to what Snyder was doing, and there was just a lot of stuff going on with like the president of WB and all that. But like, it's going to get them a lot of money, so why wouldn't they? Like, why wouldn't you do it if you're going to get more money for your streaming service?
Yeah.
I mean, big companies are going to make money. Like, that's what they want to do. That's the point of it. If they can make money, they can give you more of what you want. You pay them more. That's how it works. And then Stargirl.
What we are going to cover this soon, because there's parts of it that I wanted to, before the show came out, I was like, I wonder how this is going to match up with Sylvester Pemberton being Starman. And there's actually the issue 0 of Stars and Stripes. It actually comments on the fact that Ted Knight wanted him to be, but he turned it down and became Skyman instead. And it's pretty much just, what if he just took the name Starman?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first episode. I think the actress who plays Stargirl is fantastic.
Breck Basinger?
Yeah, Basinger. Not related to Kim Basinger, from what I can tell. It was, honestly, I loved it. Like, I watched it when it premiered at midnight, and I'm way less connected to the JSA than Jake is, other than Sandman, who was in it for 15 seconds.
Yeah, for the most part, I kind of just lost track of when it was coming out.
Yeah. Also, it opens with a Bruce Springsteen song, which is awesome.
I just want to know why. I mentioned this to you. I want to know why Ted Grant's Wildcat looks so good. Like the mask looks like it fits. And then for who I'm guessing is Yolanda, who we mentioned in the Crisis on Infinite Earths episode, was the second one. Like her mask does not just. It just looks like a big bulb.
Well, I mean, those are only the promo pictures. It might look better in the show. I mean, I trust it.
I mean, I'm always pro Hour Man.
Yeah,
as you know.
I mean, Jeff Johns is the one doing this show, and these are his characters. They're not technically his, but they're his.
Well, Stargirl is pretty much his.
100%.
I mean, Stargirl is based on his sister.
Yeah, and a picture of her did make a cameo in the episode, which is very, very good.
Yeah.
Big thing for me, Harley Quinn and Ivy kissed on the show. It's been enough weeks where I can talk about that. It's so wild that this happened right after DC was like, they did that one series where like, oh, no homo. And I was like, what? They hopefully now this.
How long ago was that?
It was in Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. They go on a road trip, and the last issue has a lot of that kind of stuff. I like Jordy Belair.
Just gal pal stuff.
They get into a big fight, but it's just the fact that,
well, she's with Booster Gold now, so.
Quote unquote best friends, which is also fine with me because that's a hilarious combination. Yeah, but it's cool that the television show's doing that, but also
Poor Kite Man.
I don't think that any television show has ever pandered to my exact DC Comics needs before. Season 2 of Harley Quinn has Mr. Freeze, voiced by Alfred Molina, who is Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. Bam. Number 1. Out of the gates, they knew who I love. Number 2. Professor Pig is a cameo in one of the episodes. Also, one of my all-time favorites. And then this week, I'm watching it with Scarlett, and I'm like, you meet Kite Man's parents and Kite Man's mom. I'm sitting there and I'm like, that voice is way too familiar. I know who this is, but I don't want to say it and be wrong and feel silly afterwards. But Jessica Walter voiced Kite Man's mom and Granny Goodness. Jessica Walter is Lucille Bluth, one of my favorite characters ever. And Archer's mom from Archer. I can't remember. Mallory Archer?
Mallory Archer.
Everything is pandering to everything that I want. It's wild. Also, Clayface and King Shark and Dr. It's the best. It's just honestly the best thing that DC is doing right now. And I really want it to be renewed for a season 3, which it has not been yet. It's really good. And I know you're not caught up, Jake, but they do a Batgirl, and Jim Gordon is a damn fine cop. There is so much good Jim Gordon stuff in this season, and essentially season 2 is No Man's Land.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's
Ooh.
awesome. And then my last note was Deceased. Have you read any of it yet?
I've read parts of the first issue of Unkillables.
I really loved zombie stuff when World War Z, the book was like a big thing and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah,
no. One of the first my first attempts at writing fiction was a zombie story.
Yeah, so it was like, and then Walking Dead, the comics are really good up until like right after the prison. That's when I stopped reading. But so Deceased was coming out, and I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be more zombie stuff. But it is. Tom Taylor writes some of the best characters in comics right now. Like, unbelievable. Like, some of this stuff is so good. Like, the quiet moments between John and Damien in Deceased it's grade A writing, and I did not think I was going to get that with a zombie book, just because I was like, oh, it's zombies. But holy moly. And his, knowledge of the DC universe is on display. Like, he's got so much good stuff in there. He's writing my 2 favorite books right now, which is anything with the Deceased label and Suicide Squad, which is issue 5 comes out Wednesday. So when this comes out, issue 5 comes out, or Tuesday.
Well, have you read the digital one that they dropped?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I read that as soon as it came out. With Jimmy, it was great. I want to talk about it. I think I'm going to write something about it. But it's just, if you're not reading Deceased or Suicide Squad, it's a very good book to pick up. You don't need to know a ton about the DC universe to enjoy it. If you do know stuff about the DC universe, you'll enjoy it more. But with Suicide Squad, it's almost a brand new team other than Harley and Deadshot. The rest of them are brand new.
Oh, also, before you get in, anyone reads it, it's the Shark, not King Shark.
Yeah. King Shark. Yeah, Deceased is tops.
Do you prefer what version of King Shark do you prefer?
Harley Quinn.
No. I mean, physically.
Harley Quinn.
No, I mean Hammerhead or the Great White.
Yeah, the Great White in a hoodie. Ron. I
just caught a Great White on Animal Crossing.
Ron Funches. Wait, how? Don't you have to go to the Southern Hemisphere?
No. It all depends on the time of year.
I haven't picked that game up in a while. I've been playing Animal Crossing in Fallout 76, building my house. I think it's the only game I've ever put time into building something.
I haven't played it since the last time I played with you.
Sorry, I'm looking up. I'm making sure Ron Funches does voice King Shark in the show, because he's incredible. He was also on Powerless.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, and so is Alan Tudyk. And Danny Pudi. Joy
and I bet in the morning.
Did you watch the table read?
No, I didn't.
Pedro Pascal, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. What are you reading this week?
I've been reading Black Torch, which is a manga series.
I just finished the new Poe Dameron book that comes out in August. It's just wild that people think like I can do that stuff now, review books, which is really cool. I really love Poe Dameron, and I really like Star Wars. So I was really excited to get in on that, and I'm really going to try to cover the High Republic stuff because really excited for that. So if you're looking for a Star Wars book that doesn't revolve around Jedi, pick this up in August, 100%. And Alex Segura is the co-president of Archie who wrote it. He's real good as well. So I think that's all we have. Our next episode will be about Stephanie Brown. I won't drop the ball on that this time.
Butterfingers.
Oh, hamburgers. So find us on Twitter at DC Super Sons. Find us on Instagram at Super Sons Pod. And then find us on Facebook at Super Sons. You know where to find me, at Dan the McMahon. And Jake doesn't really use Twitter.
Oh, yeah, I have one. It's at Jake Lakes Otters.
Yeah. If you have any feedback for the show or any requests, send them to us there. Thanks. Catch us next time. Same bat time, same bat channel, or same bat ears.
The heat is on!